how changes to the SU budget might affect your tuition costs next year.
And a chili cook-off outside HBC. More details on the upcoming events in the 2018 Winter Carnival.
And last night's CNN Town Hall sparks discussion about U.S. gun laws. Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Well, Central New York's long wait is finally over. Welcome to Citrus TV News. I'm Conor Wight.
And I'm Jack Watson. Chick-Fil-A opened in Cicero today. Citrus TV reporter Nicole DeMentri is at the first Chick-Fil-A to open in upstate New York. Nicole?
Hey guys, I am outside of the brand new Cicero Chick-fil-A, which is behind me, but let's take a look at the traffic. Everyone is so excited for the grand opening. Traffic is backed up onto the highway, but the Cicero police actually tweeted about it. They put it on Facebook that they're excited for this restaurant to come here, but they actually had traffic patterns in months in advance. They were planning all of this. They have 2 sets of cars lined up. They have a pickup line and they also have a drive-through line. So they have this very well situated. There's probably about 50 cars outside right now, and everyone, as you could hear behind me a little bit before, is very excited that Chick-fil-A is here.
And Nicole, what's the atmosphere like there right now?
So the atmosphere right now, as you can see, people were yelling outside their car. You know, people were actually getting outside their car and sharing their orders with each other. Here in Central New York, the closest to Central New York thus far with Chick-fil-A is actually down in New York City. So a lot of people actually have never had Chick-fil-A here. So they were out of their car asking each other what they should be eating, you know, just to see and taste test and get a little bit of everything. It will be here for quite a long time, guys.
And Nicole, I know today was their official kickoff, but Chick-fil-A held an event there yesterday. What was that all about?
Yesterday, Chick-fil-A ended up giving 150 of the people that lined up. It originally was supposed to be the first 100 people that lined up free Chick-fil-A for an entire year. Now, I would have lined up for that as well. And it ended up that 150 people came and they gave those 150 Central New Yorkers free Chick-fil-A for an entire year.
And Nicole, what are you planning to bring back to the studio for us?
Okay, so back at home in New Jersey, I absolutely love Chick-fil-A, and I normally go for their chicken nuggets. They're amazing. I highly suggest it to you guys. And you know what I also suggest? Chick-fil-A sauce. So Jack and I, my photog, we surely will be in there in quite a bit. Back to you guys in the studio.
Nicole from Cicero, thanks so much.
Well, the cost of attendance for undergraduate students will increase next year. That's according to the budget report released by the University Senate yesterday. The report says attendance is expected to increase by 7.9%. For returning undergrads, it will only be a 3.4% increase. The budget report outlined concerns for the lack of additional funding for international students. Other topics included in the report include research funding, Veterans Affairs, and the DPS budget. And that's not all from the SU Senate. Chancellor Syverud spoke at the University Senate meeting yesterday. He focused on the community's work to combat sexual abuse and harassment on campus. The chancellor says his goal is to continue to strengthen the current policies and speed up the process of dealing with complaints regarding sexual assault and harassment.
And the Syracuse University Muslim Association is hosting a lecture tonight to educate members of the campus community on Islamophobia in the United States. The executive director of the Islamic Center at NYU, Khalid Latif, will deliver the lecture about injustice. The lecture will be followed by a question and answer and is free and open to the public. And the event is taking place at 7 in the Herg Auditorium in Newhouse 3. And for all you spicy food fans out there, hopefully you had a chance to make it to today's chili cook-off at the HBC patio. There were free chili tastings this morning starting at 11. This event is part of the 2018 Winter Carnival. Students were able to submit their recipes online in order to compete tonight. And tonight, as part of the Winter Carnival events, the A Cappella Council is presenting Cozy Capella at 8:30 in Goldstein Auditorium.
Marvel's Black Panther opened this weekend and grossed over $240 million in the opening 4-day weekend. But to some, the movie meant far more than being just another superhero film. Here to talk about the impact of Black Panther is CitrusTV reporter Anna Azallion. Anna?
Thanks, Connor. Black Panther made its debut in theaters on February 16th. Since then, it's broken records, including biggest February opening weekend. I spoke with executive members of 2 student organizations on campus and a Newhouse professor about the movie and its impact. Black Panther is the first black superhero from Marvel Comics. The movie focuses on T'Challa, a young king in Wakanda who faces a conflict that could endanger the world. The president of the SU African Student Union liked the movie and said it's a good representation of the countries in Africa.
The cast was made of Caribbean actors, actors with African descendants, and it just told a story that just hasn't been told, I believe, in Hollywood before. From the plot to the cast and the director, the movie has prompted a conversation.
The movie is having an impact on multiple levels. One is discussion about the Black Panther movement in general.
Chalk said the movie shows a lot of references to the movement, both culturally and historically. Another thing she sees as unique are the characters.
One of the things that may be a little different from other types of films is because of the nature of the cast and the directing, it has created the opportunity to provide characters for people to identify with.
The movie features female characters as bodyguards and warriors fighting alongside the Black Panther.
I hope the kids that do see this will see that, okay, superheroes can be not just men in cat suits, but women as well in the laboratory. And
Rice has a different opinion of the impact Black Panther might have on kids.
I think the representation that's there, like just seeing someone who looks like you on the big screen, especially with Marvel, which is a more mainstream, like a more popular name, like seeing that just means a lot.
The SU African Student Union is planning a Black Solidarity Town Hall. They want to discuss the movie and Black History Month. Now, Dare told me they don't yet have a location for the meeting, but it will take place next Wednesday. The meeting will be open to everyone and focused on discussion. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Anna. Central New York beer enthusiasts will be happy to hear of the revival of a local favorite. After nearly 55 years, the Congress beer is coming back. The Onondaga Historical Association and Willow Rock Brewery are teaming up to bring back the, quote, old school brew. The revamped light lager will follow the original recipe, but will be updated for today's tastes. Keep an eye out for Congress beer on shelves by the end of July. And a States for Gun Safety Coalition is being created to combat gun violence in the Northeast. New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Rhode Island will create a multi-state database that will share information on firearms, law enforcement efforts, and supplement the federal criminal background check database. By sharing information, the states hope to effectively prevent certain individuals from buying a gun, obtaining a gun, or getting a gun permit.
According to a U.S. District Court judge, the corruption trial for a former top Cuomo aide and 3 businessmen is going to last nearly a week longer than expected. Prosecutors rested their case this morning, but the defense is expected to call 23 witnesses to the stand. Words from witnesses and closing statements are likely to carry the case into early March. Involved in the case is Syracuse-based development company Core Development.
And what's better than waking up to the smell of fresh donuts? CitrusTV reporter James Groh went to an artisan donut shop that is raising money with a unique SU-themed treat.
What do you get when you combine donuts, charity, and Syracuse basketball coach Jim Boeheim? You get the Jimmy B.
The Jimmy B's got an orange marmalade glaze, orange buttercream, some fresh blueberries, organic blueberries, and then an orange slice just to kind of keep into that SU theme.
It's a $3 orange creamsicle donut sold by Glazed and Confused. All the proceeds from the Jimmy B go to the Salvation Army.
Well, if someone were to come in today and buy a dozen, we would ask them if they want to add one more, so make it a 13th, so 13 instead of 12, and then the proceeds go back.
The idea actually came from the Salvation Army that already does work with Jim Boeheim. All Glazed and Confused had to do was come up with the donut.
And the Jimmy B, it won't be the only donut used for charitable purposes.
Our hope is that we'll always do our 12 donuts and then add that one.
The 13th donut will change often, but its purpose will always be the same. Giving back. It's what Valenti says is a major pillar of Glazed and Confused.
Like we donated donuts for the DPW when they were out one night doing snow. So it doesn't always have to be a charity, but it's always giving back to the community in a way that we know how and can with what we have here.
They even donate 10% of their revenue. James Groh, Citrus TV.
And you can buy the Jimmy B now until March 4th.
Well, Jack, it's been all over the place in terms of weather. We woke up to 75 degrees yesterday, and it snowed today. I don't know about you, but I'm lost.
That temperature absolutely plummeted, and our weather anchor Jenna Babyak is here to tell us all the details. Jenna?
Yeah, guys, I know a lot of students were really shocked today when they saw that it was snowing. Yesterday, it was in the 70s. Completely crazy weather we're seeing. We're seeing lake effect snow squalls. Now, snow squalls are just sudden, heavy blowing snow through really quick. So looking at our past radar, we're seeing it come through. We see this cold air come over the warm lake, and that develops these clouds with all this moisture, and we're seeing heavy, heavy snowfalls. So I'll have your full weather forecast coming up. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jenna. Coming up on Citrus TV News, is National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster on his way out? How tensions between the Lieutenant General and President Trump could end in McMaster's retirement.
And also coming up, survivors of last week's school shooting spoke with Florida lawmakers in a CNN town hall last night. What they said and how officials responded. Don't go away.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or
Some breaking news out of Washington. Just hours ago, Special Counsel Robert Mueller filed new charges against former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort and his business partner and campaign aide Rick Gates.
Mueller's new indictment contains 32 counts, including bank and tax fraud. Back in October, the two were indicted on 12 counts.
Citrus TV will follow the story as it evolves. Be sure to tune in at 7:30 tonight for Talking Points for more coverage and breakdown.
And survivors of the Parkland school shooting took center stage at a CNN town hall last night to discuss gun policy in America. Students, parents, and teachers asked questions to Florida senators, the Broward County Sheriff, and the NRA spokeswoman.
Senator Marco Rubio said he supports raising the age to buy a rifle to 21, and he opposed President Trump's idea to arm teachers. He faced backlash from the audience when he refused to say he would reject NRA campaign contributions.
And Senator Rubio said he might be changing his mind about the size of magazine clips.
Because I traditionally have not supported looking at magazine clip size. And after this and some of the details I've learned about it, I'm reconsidering that position, and I'll tell you why.
And President Trump held a listening session for Americans affected by gun violence yesterday in the White House. Among those invited were parents of Parkland and Sandy Hook shooting victims.
Many called for gun control measures that critics say the president and Congress have neglected. At the listening session, President Trump brought a list of talking points. The last point on the list read, quote, "I hear you."
And in addition to holding the listening session, President Trump pushed his own boundaries regarding control over gun sales by advocating for tougher background checks.
These checks would screen for mental health status, raise the minimum age of gun buyers to 21, and end the sale of bump stocks.
Despite his initiatives, President Trump posted to Twitter that he is relieved that Congress is, quote, in the mood to do something on the issue.
The National Security Advisor to President Trump could soon be gone. Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster may be moved back to military positions with the president as tensions with the president rise.
White House officials prefer to move McMaster into a position with either the Defense Department or the Army that would qualify as a promotion. However, some say that the president could also force McMaster to retire altogether. And today, the Obama-era net neutrality rules were officially repealed. Starting March 23rd, internet service providers will be able to implement new policies following the removal of the rules.
There is also a 60-day deadline to overturn the decision. However, it is unlikely that there is enough support in the House of Representatives to overturn the repeal.
And starting now, parties are able to sue over the new rules put in place.
And the NRA is facing criticism after last week's shooting in Parkland, Florida. NRA Executive Vice President Wayne LaPierre spoke at the Conservative Political Action Conference earlier today.
It was his first statement since the shooting last week. Activists have since been making a heavy push for Congress and President Trump to pass gun control measures.
LaPierre strongly rebuked those he says are out to eradicate all individual freedoms.
It's not a safety issue. It's a political issue. They care more about control and more of it. Their goal is to eliminate the Second Amendment. Their solution is to make you, all of you, less free.
And North Korea is sending another high-level delegation to South Korea for the Winter Olympics closing ceremony.
The delegation is led by the vice chairman of the party's Central Committee, Kim Yong-chol, who is blamed for the sinking of a South Korean Navy ship that killed 46 sailors. This choice of leadership could be taken as intentionally provoking South Korea.
This poses a challenge for South Korea, who will need to accommodate both North Korean and the U.S. delegations.
And Russia has vetoed a United Nations measure calling for a ceasefire in Syria. The resolution would have established a 30-day ceasefire and humanitarian deliveries in the Syrian region of Ghouta.
The resolution came up for a vote after reports of heavy civilian casualties in the region just outside of the nation's capital.
Coming up, Citrus TV weather anchor Jenna Babyak has her full weather forecast. Stick with us.
They'll test you, try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Looking at tonight's forecast, it's going to be getting pretty cold, but luckily all that snow we saw today, totally gone. It's completely clear, 0% chance of precipitation now through the rest of the night. And then looking at the future radar, as you can see, we just have clouds coming in right now. No snow, no rain, so you'll be good for the night if you're going out. No worries, no rain, no snow you have to worry about. But looking at the forecast when you wake up tomorrow, it's also going to be really cloudy, but don't be deceived because we will be seeing rain later in the day. So when you leave, you're going to want to make sure that you're planning for your day. It's going to be getting warmer throughout the day, but rain throughout. The rain is going to be steadier in the afternoon and picking up. And we're looking at the current temperatures throughout the area right now. Pretty consistent throughout Syracuse, mid-30s, the rest of the region, mid-high, low 30s right now. And we take a look at our 5-day forecast right now. Looking pretty consistent in terms of temperatures throughout the week, 40s, getting into the 50s into after the weekend. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of rain, clouds, storms Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But moving into Monday and Tuesday, we're finally going to see that sun. Few clouds, but then finally on Tuesday, pretty sunny, 52 degrees. So that's something to look forward to. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Coming up in sports, the SU men's basketball team went toe-to-toe with UNC in the Dome last night, and now the women's team does the same tonight down in Chapel Hill. Plus, the SU women's lacrosse team squares off with Albany. We'll be right back.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who...
Got a quarter?
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News Live at 6. I'm JD Raucci. Let me list off a couple of ingredients for you. Largest on-campus crowd of the season, top 10 opponent, and the desperate need for a signature win all seem like a recipe for an upset win, right? Well, SU was looking for a big-time win last night in the Dome versus UNC, and this one went right down to the wire. Syracuse and North Carolina from the Carrier Dome, little meeting of the minds there. Jim Boeheim and Roy Williams, two of the most legendary coaches in college basketball history. Early on, it's Williams' Tar Heels. Luke May puts them up 8-5, and then Theo Pinson lines up a triple, and he knocks it down. UNC goes up 11 there, but SU cuts into the lead right before halftime. O'Shea Brissett knocks down the triple right as the buzzer sounds. SU down 9 at half, and now Frank Howard, how about a buzzer beater of his own, beats the shot clock. That cuts into the North Carolina lead, and then Syracuse would go on a run. Dish down to O'Shea Brissett. He slams it home on the reverse. Then Tyus Battle takes over. Leaner off the glass is good, and now a deep two caps off an 8-0 run for Syracuse. This game is tied, but Pascal Chukwu, a costly turnover. Joel Berry finishes in transition for Carolina, gives them a 2-point lead, but Syracuse does have one more chance they can tie or win the game. Frank Howard elects for the win, can't get it to go, and North Carolina wins 78-74 from the Carrier Dome, a huge win for the Tar Heels. And now tonight, the SU women's basketball team looks to do what the men couldn't get done last night. The Orange makes its annual journey down to Tobacco Road this evening to take on UNC in Chapel Hill. Coach Q's squad heads into the matchup red hot as winners of 3 straight games, but the same cannot be said for the Tar Heels. Carolina has lost a whopping 7 straight and is just 4-10 in the ACC. Tip-off is scheduled for 7. And it's going to be hard for the SU men's lacrosse team to forget about last week's 15-3 loss to Albany, but it better figure it out soon because another big test is looming on Saturday. The Orange squares off with number 9 Army this weekend, and John Desko says the key to beating the Black Knights is learning from the Great Danes.
So we have to be more patient this week. We've got to take better care of the ball when we do get it. Obviously, we've got to compete in the face-off. to get the ball to our offense and try to get them comfortable at the end of the field. And hopefully our defense will play like they've been playing and be stingy at the defensive end of the field.
And those Great Danes are not out of Syracuse's hair just yet. The SU women's lacrosse team is squaring off with Albany, a team SU has never lost to, a perfect 11-0 record for Gary Gates' squad. As we speak, the Orange is up 11-2 at halftime over in the Carrier Dome. And, you know, the biggest news out of this one, not really the score, but an injury. Draw control specialist Morgan Widener suffered a knee injury at the end of the first half. She walked off the field in crutches. Not a good sight for Syracuse women's lacrosse fans. But basketball fans, don't worry, the NBA is back. Both of New York's pro basketball teams return to action after over a week off for the All-Star break. A couple of Southern road trips start tonight at 7. First, the Knicks head down to the Sunshine State for a date with the Magic. Orlando, not a great matchup for New York this season. Knicks are 0-2 against Magic this season. And then down in Charlotte, the Nets meet the Hornets. Both teams are currently on the outside looking in for the playoff race. And if you thought it was a busy night of basketball, wait till you look on the ice. All 3 of New York State's hockey teams in action tonight. The Rangers take their show on the road and head north of the border for a matchup with the Canadiens at 7:30. The Islanders will join their Big Apple buddies in Canada as they look to get back on the right track against the surging Toronto Maple Leafs. And stateside, the Sabres try to snap a 3-game losing streak when they take on the Red Wings in Detroit. And from Pyeongchang, the U.S. women's hockey team's drought is over. The Americans took down 4-time defending champion Canada last night in the Olympic gold medal game, and boy was it a thriller. After tying the game with less than 6 minutes to play in the third period, the U.S. pulled out its first gold medal at the Olympics since 1998 with Jocelyn Lamoureux's game-winning goal in the shootout.
Our sports reporter, J.D. Raucci, thanks so much for joining us tonight, J.D. Now, a tough loss in the Dome last night, 78-74. Does this hurt our tournament chances badly?
It absolutely does hurt their tournament chances, Jack. And the biggest reason is because Syracuse is still looking for that signature win. They're still looking for that ranked win that they usually get a little bit earlier in the season. Last night was a great opportunity. You saw them come back, really make a game out of it, and the fact that they couldn't get the job done against North Carolina really hurts their chances.
Well, that's a shame. I really thought they were going to pull it off. JD, thank you.
No problem.
We'll be right back.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Well, Jack, I know a lot of people are excited about that Chick-Fil-A opening up. What are you going to get when you first go?
Back home in Jersey, I always get the 4-piece chicken tender meal with a Coke and large fries, and I really can't wait to head over to Cicero to get mine. And that's all the time we have tonight for Citrus TV News Live at 6. For all of us here at Citrus TV, I'm Jack Watson.
And I'm Conor Wight. Have a great evening, Syracuse.